Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Aggieville Alleycats podcast, where come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. I'm Ace Edwards, right alongside
Connor Baltazar.
And today, welcome to the weekly recap where we cover all non-rev sports and have a grand time doing it. So on today's agenda is soccer, volleyball, and then a collection of miscellaneous sports ranging from golf to cross country. And then, of course, everyone's favorite, the wacky segment of the week. But let's dive straight into the soccer news for this week. There are a grand total of 2 matches to cover. The first one didn't end the way we wanted. Neither did the second one, but, it's more of a lateral move than anything else, but that'll get its own time. Let's start off with the first game that we haven't covered yet, which is the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. This was a matchup between the K-State Wildcats, who entered the match 4-3-1, and the South Dakota State Jackrabbits at South Dakota State. They entered this matchup 5-0-3. This was unfortunately a 0-2 loss in favor of the South Dakota State. I made that mistake like 3 times, didn't I?
I do that every single time I see SDSU for South Dakota State. I always start saying San Diego State. And that's no disrespect at all to South Dakota State. Like, got a lot of respect for you, but you should really choose a different abbreviation.
Yeah. But anyway, K-State lost to South Dakota State, and it was never ideal. We'll say.
Yeah. I do suppose we could preface it with South Dakota State is a pretty good team. They beaten some sides that we would probably struggle with. And they've drawn with some good sides as well. They're unbeaten on the year as well. They're 6-0-3 as of right now. So good side, but still, this is a game you'd like to be a bit more competitive in. South Dakota State doubles up K-State in shots, and this one they more than double up in shots on goal, 16-8 on shots and 7-3 with shots on goal. Then corner kicks, they obliterated us 14-1 for K-State. So K-State really struggled to have consistent possession in the offensive third, which has been fairly consistent, honestly. That's really nothing new, if we're being honest. But I think K-State fouled a lot in this game, which K-State does foul a lot anyways, but it is a sign of frustration. And there were a few yellow cards issued in this game, but I mean, it hardly mattered. South Dakota State, they scored in the 50th minute and the 65th minute. But not a whole lot else to say here other than it seems like with how the shot chart plays out and how the corner kicks are listed here. I mean, of course, having not watched this particular match on the prestigious Jackrabbits All Access Network, doesn't really seem like we were really in that one for very long. Devil's advocate, South Dakota State does seem like a pretty surprisingly good team. But yeah, another disappointing result in a season filled with disappointing results for K-State soccer.
Yeah, in counter argument, I know they might be a good team, but their home field is also the Fishback Soccer Park.
The Fishback?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
We have lost at the Fishback.
We really should probably just shutter the program after this.
It'd be like
I rescind my
Brazzy.
defenses of the soccer team. We got to get them out of here now. If you lose at the Fishback Park, like that's grounds for like demolition of Booster Family Park.
Video board and all.
Yeah, got to get rid of everything. Just give the video board a baseball. Just let them have 2 video boards, I guess. I don't know.
You just have to look over like the fence to see the other video board. Just a vacant lot with everything except the video. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. It's another disappointing result. And honestly, you and I had very low expectations for this team going into the season. So it's disappointing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's entirely surprising.
It's definitely not surprising. There were a few times this season where they kind of showed life. It felt like the Northwestern game being up 1-0 at half, and you blow that one late. Purdue lose that one by one, but again, that's one that you hope you get. Blowing out Colorado State with 3 goals in like 3 minutes or whatever it was. Um, but yeah, another frustrating result. A lot of frustrating results this season, really. Just going up and down the list, like the UTSA loss, the draw, Northern Colorado. Uh, yeah, like you said, expectations have been low, but so I guess this probably meets the expectations thus far, but I was really hoping to be surprised.
Yeah. Then the next game, which was the most neutral reaction that you could have because it was a tie. It was the opener in conference play up against Iowa State in Ames at the Cyclone Sports Complex. K-State entered this one 4-4-1. Iowa State entered 3-3-2. So now Iowa State gets perfect trips, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, yeah, this one ends up in a 0-0 tie. I'm
Riveting.
not. Yeah, I know. I watched about the last 10 minutes of this. And Casey had a few opportunities, honestly. I would say that this was a roughly even match. I would honestly give the advantage to K-State. If forced, the stat sheet shows that as well. K-State did outshoot Iowa State. They dominated the second half in that regard. 15-9 overall for shots. K-State leading the way there. K-State, 10 of their 15 shots were on target, so they were making the goalkeeper work. So 10 saves tonight for the Iowa State goalkeeper. That's just an objectively great performance.
Yeah.
So this is a game that you could maybe argue based on the amount of opportunities K-State should have won. Probably let this one slip through their fingers, honestly, but I would say getting points on the road in the Big 12, you can never be too upset with that, I'd say, especially for a program like K-State, where you're struggling to get points as it is. Getting one on the road is nice. But then again, Iowa State is probably going to be battling with K-State for last in the conference. So this is one that you really wish you get the points there, because that this is one that could bite you down the stretch. But K-State double up Iowa State on corners. Second half, they outshot Iowa State 7-1. A couple of yellow cards in play here, one for Iowa State, one for K-State. But nothing incredible to write home about this. Go figure, with a 0-0 draw. But nice that K-State was able to hold off. It seems like a lot of times K-State's giving up late goals to lose what should have been a draw, or draw on what should have been a win. So nice that they're at least able to hold on to the results as it is, but you really need one to find the back of the net here if you're K-State soccer. So disappointing result to a certain degree, but again, going on the road and getting points in the Big 12, that's no easy feat. Especially for a program that's still in the development stage like K-State.
Still
So
very much in its infancy.
still really young. I have very mixed feelings on the how long it takes to build up a soccer program argument, because I do believe it, but it feels like we've been hearing that over and over again for quite some time, and we're now in like year 7-ish
Yeah.
of the program, and it's really at the point where we should be seeing results. So
And not even necessarily results, but progress, like tangible progress.
that is true, and we've really not seen progress. Which, I mean, honestly, progress for K-State at this point is not even finishing mid-table for the conference. It's making the postseason conference tournament, and that's not finishing last.
That's not, yeah, that's which is such a low bar.
Yeah, you have to go from 9th to 8th. And granted, last year they were very, very close to doing that, but close is not going to be enough in the long term. And they really do need they need to show signs of life, I guess, is what I think we're looking for. And at times they do, they show flashes. Other times they look completely flat. But we're going to figure out a lot about this team, I feel like, in the next few weeks, and how they defend home. because they get two home fixtures in a row against Oklahoma State and TCU. TCU is allegedly really good,
Yeah.
but
And that game is Sucktoberfest, isn't it?
it is. It is. That sounds like a fun outing. Comes with like a Pilsner glass and various other knickknacks, I guess. I don't
I,
know.
I think Scott said he was thinking about going to that game.
I think he did. And yeah, this TCU team is definitely pretty legit. They're 5-2-3. They've played a very tough schedule. They just drew with Texas, who's always a really good side. They drew with Harvard, who's 16th ranked. They beat Texas A&M, who was 21st ranked. They did lose 1-3 to Duke, but Duke is number 2 in the country, at least at the time of that game being played. So I don't know. Tough to say. They don't list TCU's rank on here. I wish that they would.
That'd be
I'd
nice, wouldn't it?
imagine I would imagine based on their record and their competition that they are a top 25 team, but that's a guess.
Yep. So we mentioned it. They play Oklahoma State at home this Sunday at 1 p.m. and the Chiefs aren't playing, so you don't have an excuse. So, but moving into volleyball, we mentioned that this was going to be a very, very telling two matches for the K-State volleyball squad that was going up in against Rice and against Crichton. The first match against Rice didn't go how we wanted it to go. It was a 2-3 loss, and unfortunately, it was a choke. Let's call it what it was. It was a choke because K-State won the first two sets 25-20 and then 26-24, and then rattled off three set losses 25-21, 25-18, and then 15-13. Now, granted, Rice was an 8-1 squad going into this game or match, and I keep doing that going into this match. So Rice, they're not pushovers, but at the exact same time, this is really disappointing to lose, especially in the way we lost it, choking away three consecutive sets when all we needed was one to knock it away.
Yeah. That one really, really hurts. No reason to drop this game if you're K-State. There's no getting around that. Blowing yet another match. Feels like K-State volleyball this year, their kryptonite almost has been finishing. They have been really good, it seems like, in early sets, but I think maybe some of that is the lack of depth that they have. They're not a deep team, and it seems like it might be starting to catch up with them to a certain degree. That and unforced errors. They had 10 service errors to 7 aces again. They had 27 attack errors to 59 kills. Um, they did have a few people stand out. Sydney Bolding had a nice day, 17 attack attempts, 11 kills, just one error. Elena Baca had 41 attack attempts, 14 kills, and then 6 errors. Aaliyah Carter only played 2 sets in this one, actually. She had 7 attack attempts, 3 kills, 3 errors. So not a lot of action for Aaliyah Carter in this one. Shaylee Myers played all 5 sets, went 53 attack attempts, 17 kills, and 5 errors. So pretty solid, but she did have 3 service errors as well. Beyond that, Mackenzie Morris had 23 digs. Nobody else registering to a notable degree, I'd say, at least like a positive notable degree, attacking. Not much else to write home about here. Rice did hit really, really well. 235 was their hitting percentage compared to 187 for the Cats. Just another difficult result to stomach, I feel like, if you're K-State volleyball.
Yeah, and it the next game it wouldn't get too much better because it was up against Crichton, who I believe went into this matchup ranked. They entered this matchup 7-2. K-State entered 9-3. Unfortunately, Crichton ended up walking away with the victory. This one wasn't the results of a choke. It was just, Crichton played better. It was a 25-16 in the first set, 25-22 in favor of Crichton in the second, 25-13 in favor of K-State, and then the final set to knock it out was 25-19 in favor of Crichton. And again, well, we'll talk about the overall parameters after we go over stats.
Yeah. Creighton, they were ranked 17th coming into this match. So a tall task for K-State, but they're just not really able to bring it home, unfortunately. Only 4 service aces, 9 service errors. Um, they hit 192 as a team. Not terrible really at all. Again, Aaliyah Carter didn't play a whole lot. Only played in 1 set, had 2 attack attempts, 1 kill, a service error, and that was it. So might be battling an injury right now. That's entirely possible. Shaylee Myers hit really well, hitting 326 individually, 43 attack attempts, 16 kills, 2 errors. And Elena Baca had 49 attack attempts, 13 kills, and 6 errors. Katie Fernholz had a nice day, 16 attack attempts, 8 kills, to 1 error. And then Sydney Bolding was really the only other person that did anything significant. 24 attack attempts, 7 kills, 3 errors. Mackenzie Morris had 22 digs. Elena Baca had 16 of her own. And then Molly Ramsey had 11. Just, they faced a really good squad, and there's not much else to say about it other than that. Creighton just played a better match than K-State did. Aaliyah Carter not playing a lot right now. Either injured or Susie Fritz is just trying to get her some rest before the season, the conference slate really gets underway. I'm not entirely certain. They've got KU coming up here on this Saturday, and that's a KU team that they just took Texas to the wire in volleyball, and Texas is obviously just a volleyball powerhouse. KU's 10-3 right now.
Just take a non-rev sport. Texas is a powerhouse in it because they have the money to just throw money at anything.
Exactly right. Yeah. But this one at KU actually really blew this match. They were up 2-0 in sets on Texas, and they end up blowing it, which is really telling because Texas is really good. Texas hitting 335 on the day. That's absolutely horrifying. KU is a good team. So this is far from a gimme for K-State. In fact, I'd say KU is probably the likely to win of the two, just based on how K-State's been playing recently and just how good of a squad KU has in volleyball this year. So,
yeah. But speaking of, the Sunflower Showdown is this Saturday at 4 in Bramlage. So if you're in town, please be sure to drop by. And if you're a student, if you're the one, I think it's first 300 students, you get a free glow stick. So
interesting. That's an interesting giveaway, glow stick.
I think it's like a special kind of glow stick. I'd have to look at the email again, but
that's fun.
I'm gonna go for the glow stick.
I mean, that's as good a reason as any to go.
And also, watch the Alleycats because I haven't gotten a chance to go and watch them this year. I've been busy.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, you'll have to go and watch.
Yeah. So the next little segment is just a collection of miscellaneous sports that I don't believe we've ever covered any of these before. And don't worry, we have it planned better than the one time we did track and then never again.
Yeah.
I still feel so bad because you were just sitting there reading and you could hear me in the background just laughing.
I was trying my best, man. And that it was such a disaster.
I wasn't even laughing at you. That's the worst part.
It was just a mess, all in all. Which that's what we get for not really planning that very well. We did track dirty that day as well. I don't think we covered them again until TJ Shankar won the national title.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about anything else.
We didn't.
So
because I remember we would talk about it and both of us would talk about it for like 2 minutes and then we said, no, we're never doing that again.
No, we will never ever do that again.
But yeah. The miscellaneous sports, let's start off with the golf teams. The men's golf had the Wildcat Invitational, and they ended up getting first out of 15 squads. And then the women's golf team got 11th of 17 in the Dick McGuire Invitational. I believe that's New Mexico State. So congratulations to both squads. And then the cross country team had their own couple of sets. They ended up getting first in women's and second in men's at the Bob Timmons Classic on September 3rd. So, you know, maybe a bit late in covering that one. But
It doesn't matter. That's all right.
But the Bob Timmons Classic was in Lawrence. And then more recently, both sides ended up getting first at the Woody Greeno / Jay Dirksen Classic on the 17th, which is University of Nebraska Lincoln. Told you it'd be short, and that's why they're miscellaneous. But congratulations to all of those teams because they are K-State sports. So, they're athletes.
Basically what I'm hearing here is that a natty is in store for women's cross country this fall.
Yeah, absolutely. That way we can put K-State doesn't have any natties to rest.
Just leave Virginia Tech out on an island like that. Our poor brethren. That's really
my fear is that they're going to win one in baseball, and then we'll be on the island.
That is true. That does make. Well, you know what? Tang is winning one this winter, anyways. So.
True. We have no reason to worry. But
yeah, nobody has a shadow of a doubt. So
yeah, I mean, if he has half the coaching ability as he has charisma, we're winning a natty this year. It's simple.
Obviously.
Yeah. That reminds me, we need to do the basketball preview. Would you want to do that like mid-October?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I love discussing pod plans on the pod.
You heard it here first. The Aggieville Alleycats will be previewing the basketball team in mid to late October. Probably late, knowing us, but
yeah, probably late because we'll forget about it.
Yeah.
Shout out to us doing the baseball preview like a week after the baseball season at first pitch.
Yeah. Oh well.
That's a shame.
Could happen to anybody.
Really could have. But with that being said, that pretty much wraps up the recap. But now we get into everyone's favorite, which is the wacky segment of the week. On this week's wacky segment, the question is, if you could put one K-State player and one K-State coach into any television show, what show would you pick and what player and coach are you inserting? Would you like to go first?
I would like you to go first because I have my coach, but I'm still thinking of a player.
Okay. My answer is quite simple, and it is going to be Jax Deneen and Pete Hughes, both joining Breaking Bad. And I know it says ad, but part of me really, really wants it to be just one-to-one replacements of like Walter White and Jesse Pinkman, but reversed. So like Jax Deneen is Walter White and then Pete Hughes is Jesse.
Actually, Colin Klein could be the guy that shoots the kid.
Oh
it
yeah,
kind of looks the same. The actor's Jesse Plemons. I forget, not to insinuate that Colin Klein would actually do that, but it's more of I just feel like the resemblance is there for Colin Klein to play that character. Who's Todd? Todd's his name, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I don't know. I feel like even if they weren't one-to-one replacements, I feel like just the right amount of chaos. Like Jax is an enforcer or something. And he just comes busting through a wall like the Kool-Aid Man and just lays someone out like the West Virginia block. The main reason was Jax. I feel like Pete Hughes is just like another solid choice. Like I don't know, maybe he's another teacher. Maybe he just reprises his role and he's like the high school baseball coach or something.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, it would be.
I like that actually. And honestly, like I feel like you could cast a lot of K-State coaches into Breaking Bad, maybe. Like try to think about who would play Walt's brother-in-law, like Hank.
Oh, who'd play Hank? Klanderman.
That's kind of who I was thinking. I was thinking either him or Riley for Hank.
Ooh, that's another good pick. Ooh. I'd still go with Clandy.
I feel like Tang would be good as Tuco.
Because apparently the actor who played Tuco was like stupidly nice, like in real life.
Which is so funny because he's
People who
just this.
not watch Breaking Bad have no idea what we're talking
No, and I'm
about.
really sorry that we've taken it off the rails here, but also this is the wacky segment, so you're just gonna have to get over it.
Yeah.
But I
No
mean, yeah,
rules.
that Tang as Tuco would be great. And if Frank Martin is still the coach, he'd be a perfect match, like 1-to-1 for Tuco. Like there would be no like change in intensity whatsoever. But I'm trying to think about who else. Like what would Jeff Mitty be? Like who's Jeff Mitty on Breaking Bad?
Well,
Uh
Gene would be Gus. Uh,
that'd be fine.
who would he be?
Gene's calculating enough to be Gus, I think.
Yeah.
He'd have to
Uh,
work on the diabolical nature. Oh, if he continues to allow re-entry, then like he's actually got the diabolical nature down. But
I'm like, who would Jeff Mitty be? Okay, so who like? Hmm.
I'm trying to think of
Anyway,
I don't know.
we could talk
We've
about this
gone
after the show.
yeah,
What do you? We're gonna call this episode "Breaking Cats."
Breaking Cats. I love that. That's our best title in a while.
Yeah.
Um, for me, I was the first coach I thought of for this was Dream Dowling. Like not even like a second hesitation in my mind. And the harder part was thinking of a player. So I
Hmm.
decided to come up with a foil. Like someone who's like an opposite, I think. And I went with Ayoka Lee. Because it seems like they have very opposing personalities. And I'm putting them on Survivor.
Oh my god! For some reason, I thought you were gonna go with like a buddy cop movie, and I'm like, you're
No,
gonna put them in
they're
like
going on
Rush Hour.
Survivor. I want them on Survivor, and I think Jareem could win. I truly think Jareem Dowling could win Survivor. I have no basis for that assertion, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think Jareem Dowling could win Survivor.
You know, that actually gives me an idea for another wacky segment of the week in the future. But these
I won't
ideas
ask what it is if we
are
want to spoil
genuinely
it.
hard to come by, so I'm not going to spoil them this week. But yeah, can't get over. That's such a pairing. That's such a.
Jareem Dowling and Ayoka Lee.
That's
Yeah,
like.
it is. I wanted to pick two people who were like kind of different. I feel like because Dream Dowling seems like a very outgoing individual, and Aoka Lee seems like a very not outgoing individual.
Yeah,
So, like anytime she ever like has spoken to media, she seems like she'd really rather not be doing that.
yeah.
And Dream's like the opposite. He's like constantly posting on social media. I'm like, this would be like an interesting like team up for Survivor. I feel like.
Oh, what's the No, that's a stupid idea. But that. You have anything else to add?
Unfortunately, no, I don't.
Okay. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. If you want to contact the show, you can follow us on Twitter at Aggieville Alleycats. That's capital A, and capital C in cats. If you want to email us, we're aggievillealleycats@gmail.com. If you want to, if you want to follow us on a more personal note, I am at AC Edwards00.
I am at Connor Boutzes, capital C, capital B.
And if you want to support the show financially, please be sure to check out the official Aggieville Alleycats merch store where you can find such designs as the staff-approved Doomtang Clan, Play Sandstorm Cowards, and Neon Alleycats. And most importantly, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. Where come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. Stay safe, Alleycats.